Good evening. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. $256 million. That's how much government will pay for Fortis's energy assets. The Prime Minister told the House of Representatives it's a great investment for Belize, while the leader of the opposition asks who will really benefit. And the UDP makes parliamentary history by wearing T-shirts in the House. Their question, who tief bodna? Plus, 2 young men died in separate fatal motorcycle accidents, while another was badly injured today. Also, Manatee Man gone abroad. Jamal Galvez wins a major conservation prize in the UK. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Bachelor of Science in Biology Education.
The sleepless nights, the long days, the massive sacrifice. There is something in us that is not hypothetical. It has been tested and proven. This defiant, resilient spirit runs through the veins of our people. You come from a long line of fighters and heroes and heroines, and some of them are sitting right here in these bleachers. They had to do so much with so little to get you to where you are today. Success and titles and defeat are imposters. They don't last forever. Who you are deep down inside, now that's forever. Your family is forever. Your community is forever. Love is forever. So love deeply. Love people more than things. Love your family. Love your friends. Love your community. Love your country. Love yourself, because you matter. Please give yourself a round of applause.
Look here, your kitchen light there and you never in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try to keep my coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try to think more to eat.
You know the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, the blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Really, he sent me some money since in the States. So I could raise up and after the buy that any cheap shop no more. I could go and save you. Yes. You know, everything nice. But everybody keep the talk of who that will it pack. Who that will it pack?
I am the baby daddy. I am the baby daddy. I am the baby's father.
Hola, yo soy José y yo soy el papá de Willy. Nos parecemos y todo. El man es pintado como yo.
I am not baby's daddy. I can't be the baby daddy.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
And we begin our newscast with one of our top stories tonight, where $256 million. That's the final price that the government will pay for the acquisition of Fortis Inc.'s energy sector assets in Belize. As we have been reporting, that includes the 3 hydro dams on the Macal River and 33% shareholding in BEL. For 30 years, Belize has been basically importing energy from its own rivers, paying Fortis in Canada in hard currency for energy the company generated using the Macal River for free. During that time, they have profited in the many tens of millions and recovered their investments many times over. Well, today, the terms of Belize's acquisition of these dams at a marginal discount were announced in the House. Here's the Prime Minister's statement in detail.
The hydro plants, powered by Belizean waters, is returning to Belizean ownership so that Belizean shareholders will benefit on the electrical power and the profits it generates. From the standpoint of energy security, the standpoint of national security, the standpoint of having local control over the electrical power necessary for our livelihoods and our economy, these acquisitions, and in particular, the hydropower plant acquisition, is a monumental gain for Belize and Belizeans. It should be emphasized that the new Hydro Belize, that's the name we're going to do from Fortis, we're going to name it Hydro Belize, will benefit from the outstanding Belizean management and staff that Fortis has recruited and nurtured during their ownership. The staff is exclusively Belizean, as I understand it, and so we herald that accomplishment and trumpet the continuity that this allows. I also want to inform this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, and to the wider public that the interim chairman for Hydro Belize will be Ambassador Lin Yong. I also wish to announce today that upon acquisition, government will eliminate the current 1.5% contractual increases each year in the cost of power sold to BEL by the hydro plants. So this adjustment at full production capacity will save BEL and its customers, all of us Belizeans, an estimated $46 million from 2025 to 2060. Another important benefit of these acquisitions is that going forward, profits and dividends from the hydro plants and from BEL shares will remain in Belize, expanding the pool of resources available for savings and investments. In just the last 7 years, over $300 million have been repatriated in dividends proceeds. $300 million channeled out of the economy between these two investments. I would like to take the opportunity to appeal to Belizeans, that this is a good investment. It's a safe investment, and advise you all to invest. At the bank you get 1% and 2%. This is estimated that you could get anywhere between 12 and 14% a rate of return every year.
So 256 million Belize dollars. So where will the government find all that money? Well, they will borrow it using domestic sources.
So in its first instance, government will issue treasury notes or debt instruments and will use the funding from the sale of these notes to satisfy the purchase price. The central bank will therefore source the foreign exchange, since payments is to be made in US dollars, while the proceeds from the sale of the treasury notes are in Belize dollars. So the net impact at acquisition will be $128 million US dollars, moving the public debt marginally higher from approximately 60% of GDP to 64%. I should underscore that this temporary increase in the public debt is an increase in the domestic debt stock only. We're not borrowing from abroad. We only borrow from private banks. We borrow from our own local resources here in Belize. Moving forward, government will seek to divest these shares in the hydro. The instance of the hydropower company at a par. So we're not going to lose the money, we just want to get back the money. And in the instance of BEL, at a margin that allows a gain for government. So the domestic public debt moves marginally, but temporarily for purposes of a strategic national investment. Ideally, government would wish to see that the Social Security Investment Fund as an anchor stakeholder in the new hydro company, given the stable long-term projected returns of the hydropower investments. In the case of the Moyehon, Chalillo, and Vaca facilities, there is a decades-long record of successful operation with power supply contracts with BEL, extending all the way to 2060. Other domestic institutional investors have already expressed an interest, such as the Holy Redeemer Credit Union and other credit unions and several of the insurance companies and probably even the banks. On the other hand, the BEL shares may require some time before reselling, perhaps to a strategic investor, given the recovery curve upon which BEL is currently embarked.
And And while the opposition supports getting back the dams for Belizean ownership, she had deep questions about government's plan to divest ownership to private investors.
This, as we see it, is an important investment for Belize. We're being asked today, Mr. Speaker, to approve a transaction that is worth over $260 million. We are asked to increase our domestic borrowing, expanding the ceiling of that borrowing to $2.2 billion. What he did not say in his presentation this morning, that these new owners, once we divest, will be exempt from paying stamp duty, business tax, income tax, and withholding tax on dividends or interest. So while the Belizean people continue to be saddled with overbearing debt every time we come to this National Assembly, the Prime Minister said in his presentation that this is economic empowerment. But what the Prime Minister did not say in his presentation is that the rate of return on investments on these 3 hydro facilities is somewhere between 77 to 85% return a year. So why would we wish to divest? I understand the need by this administration not to increase the debt to GDP ratio and not wanting to have that exposure, but it would make sense to me. It would make absolute sense to me that we don't divest the shares in these hydro facilities. Let's hold on to these facilities so that we can meaningfully contribute to the reduction of energy costs in this country. Instead, we have declared we're going to divest. And if we're real, the only entities that will be able to buy are these entities, these commercial partners as we put them, the banks, the credit unions, the insurance companies, and a few rich men or women, maybe 5, we could count on one hand, who will have the wherewithal to make that windfall on the return of this, on this investment, and from rub the salt in the wound, they don't want to pay no tax. In perpetuity, once you get it, it's yours. Our nationalism is being painted across this gift that we are getting. But there is nothing in what I have read or what has been presented that says, you know what? As a government, we recognize that we want ordinary citizens to have an opportunity to participate in big business. This is only for HRCU. I know me said that, member for Fort Judge. Your Honorable Prime Minister singled HRCU out. This deal is about our national patrimony. It is about our national pride. It is about our energy independence. So why are we now going to purchase the asset that will give us an 85, somewhere between 77 and 85% return on investment in a year, and flip it? We are flip it, We are flip it. And only a certain class of Belizeans will be able to get into the deal.
The deal is scheduled to be completed by November 15th. And the new company called Hydro Belize Limited will be led by CEO Kay Menzies with 48 Belizean staff members. The government's interim board for Hydro Belize will be chaired by Lin Young, a veteran of both BEL and Fortis Belize. And later in the newscast, you'll hear the Prime Minister discuss the valuation for the dams and the shares in BEL and the final price which the government got for them. But before we get to that, you may have noticed that the UDP's 3 representatives who appeared at today's House meeting all wore T-shirts. In the 30-plus years this station has been covering the House, it's the first time we've seen that one. Definitely a sharp departure from the standard Guayabera button-down shirt or a blazer and shirt. They wore it as a protest message, and the leader of the opposition, while she was not allowed to bring up the abduction in the debate, she did tease the other side with it. Here's more.
The Honorable Prime Minister doesn't like when you ask questions. He gets offended. He gets belligerent. He shouts at you in this National Assembly and tells you to shut up when you ask a question. And you ask the question not to politicize important policy decisions or important national development agenda, the national development agenda. You ask the question because we simply do not have the answers, and we need the answers. My colleague, for myself, who thief Budna? Anybody know? Who thief Budna? Who beat her? Who abduct her? Who carry her across this country? Who thief Budna? But I'm not here to talk about who thief Budna. I'm here to talk about Honorable. No, I won't talk about who thief Budna. Member for Judge, I won't ask who thief Budna. Nobody know who thief Budna.
Members, can we please continue on the...
If you thief the former delegate, the former member for mess up, if you thief her, I can know who thief her.
And there's much more from the House still to come as both political leaders discuss the terrible state of BEL's financial affairs and what it could mean for an increase in rates. But when we come back, we'll tell you how Belize will soon become a safe third country for the U.S. Stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Remember, not all light bulbs are created equal. Our lighting department offers a wide assortment of light fixtures and accessories to suit your style. So stop in today and get the right illumination for your homecation. And don't forget your B-Box when you make a purchase. Benny's, quality and savings.
No Wi-Fi.
You might want to sing it note for note, don't worry.
Yo, bro, need your help.
Happy.
Excuse me, class.
In every life we
Bro, I
have
have smart
some
pepper, it's not
trouble.
you.
But when you worry, you make it double, don't worry. Be happy.
Wherever the coastal road takes you, don't worry, be happy. Smart has you covered. Smart, bringing people together.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
There are so many people who are proud of you. your parents, your guardians, your aunts, your uncles, your siblings, faculty, and friends. They are there too. They share in this achievement. Please give them a bigger round of applause. Graduates, you have a sacred duty, a generational responsibility even. You have to honor those who came before you by standing taller, stronger, go farther, go further, go harder. But stand together for one another. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, thank God, always call to Him. He will be there for you.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
A man is currently receiving treatment after he was involved in an accident on the George Price Highway this evening. It was sometime after 4 when this pickup truck, which was heading west, made a left turn across the highway at mile 8. That's when an overtaking motorcycle came out from behind another vehicle and collided into the side of the pickup truck. Reports say he was conscious and speaking when the paramedics arrived. He was then put into the back of an ambulance and rushed to the hospital. And continuing with this news, 2 young men died in separate road traffic accidents last night in western Belize. The first accident happened around 5 p.m. in Belmopan at the corner of St. Jude and St. Matthews Streets. 18-year-old Johnny Cano, a student from the Stan Creek district, was driving a motorcycle with 18-year-old Jamin Pat, also a student from Stan Creek, as his passenger. The motorcycle collided head-on with a bus driven by 23-year-old Jonathan Estrada of San Ignacio Town. Both Cano and Pat were flung from the motorcycle and rushed to the Western Regional Hospital, where Cano was pronounced dead on arrival. Estrada escaped unharmed, and just hours later, tragedy struck again. At around 3:30 a.m., police were called to the scene of another fatal accident between miles 52 and 53 on the George Price Highway near Tea Kettle Village. There, officers found the motionless body of 25-year-old Darrell Montero of Tea Kettle Village on the roadside, along with a damaged Lifan motorcycle. Initial reports indicate that Montero and another man, Sean Armstrong, that is, were traveling on the motorcycle when they lost control and crashed into a guardrail. Both men were flung from the bike, and Montero died on the scene, while Armstrong sustained minor injuries. Meanwhile, police in San Ignacio have detained 3 people following the discovery of a firearm and a large quantity of ammunition during an operation in Cayo this morning. Around 10 a.m., officers searched a residence on Maya Street, San Ignacio Town. Present at the time were two men in their 20s and a woman in her 50s. Well, police discovered a 9mm rifle type firearm and identified as a Javadi brand weapon. They also found two magazines, a drum magazine, 195 rounds of 9mm ammunition, and 20 rounds of .223 ammunition hidden inside a bucket in one of the rooms. None of the occupants could produce a valid firearm license, and as a result, all three were detained and escorted to the San Ignacio Police Station, pending formal charges for possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. And continuing with more news, a prisoner who was serving a sentence for manslaughter died earlier this week. And now his family is waiting for a post-mortem to find out what could cause a 30-year-old to expire so suddenly. Gilberto Chanek from San Pedro Town was hospitalized at the KHMH last week, Saturday, and died on Sunday. Initial reports say he only had a urinary tract infection. Now, how could that cause the death of a 30-year-old? Well, the CEO of the prison, Virgilio Murillo, says that is why he also wants to see the post-mortem. He said Chanek had been a sickly inmate who was in and out of the hospital medical center during his incarceration. He was imprisoned in 2018 and had been serving a 15-year sentence for manslaughter. And now switching to other news, as of October 1st, Belize has implemented free movement among 3 other CARICOM states, Barbados, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This means that residents from these countries will be able to enter, reside, and work indefinitely without the need for a work or residency permit. And while the public information campaign on this has been woefully inadequate, in the House meeting today, Foreign Minister Francis Fonseca explained what this will look like for other CARICOM nationals. Here's more.
Belize has prepared carefully for this transition, adopting an administrative approach from commencement to ensure a smooth and secure rollout. This includes a monitoring phase to assess implementation and identify operational gaps, cabinet approval, and submission of a finalized bill to Parliament to formalize this arrangement in law, which is forthcoming. Implementation systems in place include a new indefinite stay stamp, which is in use at all ports of entry, affirming the rights of nationals from these participating member states to live and work in Belize. After registration with Social Security, nationals will be able to facilitate access to essential services such as education, healthcare, and social security. Security and health safeguards remain fully intact. Oversight measures ensure that individuals who pose a threat to public safety or who may become a burden on the state may be refused entry or removed in accordance with established procedures. In support of financial inclusion, the Central Bank of Belize has issued guidance to domestic banks to ensure that CARICOM nationals, their spouses, and dependents can access financial services once they have received their indefinite stay stamp. Public information materials have also been disseminated through the government press office and social media platforms, while a CARICOM complaints mechanism is operational at all ports of entry to safeguard the rights of CARICOM nationals.
Fonseca also explained the terms of the upcoming agreement with the U.S. to act as a safe third country. As we reported, at the start of this year, the Prime Minister was dead set against having detainees from other countries come into the country. But now, Belize is setting its own boundaries on the agreement. Here's how the minister explained it today.
Under this agreement, asylum seekers in the United States could be transferred to Belize for the determination of their claim. The agreement we are finalizing contains multiple safeguards to protect the interests and security of Belize, including an unqualified veto over who is transferred to Belize, restrictions on the nationalities that could be transferred, a cap on the total transferees per annum, consideration of criminal records and professional skills. The agreement is for 2 years in the first instance, and either party can terminate or suspend at any time by providing written notice. Government insisted on these safeguards. We felt that they were necessary given capacity constraints to manage and support asylum seekers, given national security considerations and the unique characteristics of our small country. The agreement also provides, upon request, financial and technical support to strengthen institutional capacities of the government of Belize. We are satisfied that the agreement aligns with our international obligations and can be effectively implemented from an operational point of view. Adjustments will be required to relevant legislation.
And a sweeping and ambitious tobacco control bill was also introduced today. It will allow for the adoption and implementation of policies that align with WHO's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. The goal is to reduce the risk of sickness and death that accompanies smoking and to prevent its use by children. The Minister of Health explained more in detail.
In the Americas, tobacco use accounts for 11% of deaths from cardiovascular disease, 17% of cancer-related deaths, and 34% of deaths from chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. For these reasons, we should be deeply concerned that in Belize, 8.7% of our adult population are tobacco users, while prevalence among young people ages 13 to 15 stands at approximately 15%, higher than the regional average of 9%. Now, in 2025, Mr. Speaker, we must contend not only with traditionally known tobacco products like cigarettes, but with the emergence of new nicotine products, particularly e-cigarettes, which are a growing concern with over 100 million global users, including at least 15 million adolescents. The prevalence of e-cigarettes use among our 13 to 15-year-old Belizean youth was last estimated to be an astounding 12%. We must act with urgency to save our youth. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, as lawmakers, we must understand that the tobacco epidemic is completely preventable with the implementation of effective legislation, policies, and programs.
That bill will now go to committee for public consultations. Meanwhile, the Minister of Home Affairs also rose to introduce the DNA bill. This bill seeks to establish a national DNA database and to provide a framework for its operation. This will allow for the collection and use of DNA evidence in criminal investigations. Minister Musa spoke more about it in detail.
The laws of Belize do not currently include any specific legislation to govern the collection and use of DNA samples in criminal investigation and in the identification of human remains, nor to govern the establishment and use of a national DNA database, which can be an extremely powerful crime-fighting tool. The introduction of a DNA bill is therefore very timely in order to establish a national DNA database and to facilitate the collection and use of DNA samples in the investigation and prosecution of criminal offenses and in the investigation of missing person cases and unidentified human remains. This DNA bill aims to achieve the following improvements to our criminal justice system as part of the wider reform efforts envisaged in the Needham's Point Declaration. 1. To establish and operate a national DNA database in a manner that respects a person's bodily integrity, privacy, and dignity, and that is consistent with human rights under the Constitution. 2. To establish indices for the categorization and storage of DNA profiles in the National DNA Database. 3. To ensure that the personal data of a person whose DNA profile is entered in the National DNA Database is protected and not accessed or shared without the requisite permission. 4. To assist the authorities in carrying out an investigation with respect to an offense. 5. To provide reliable evidence for the purpose of prosecution of criminal offenses. And 6. To establish the administrative and procedural framework concerning the collection of DNA samples, the issuance of a court order if consent is refused by a suspect, the removal of or destruction of DNA samples and DNA profiles held by the National Forensic Science Service or in the National DNA Database, the identification of missing persons and human remains, and the establishment of a DNA Oversight Committee.
That bill was also for first reading. And on Wednesday, we told you about the plight of Shireen Garbutt, who got permission to survey a parcel of land in the Malacate area of Independence Village. She surveyed it only to have the land sold to someone else 3 years later. She said that all she was waiting for was the minister's signature on her lease application. But then she found that it had been bought by Charles Price, the brother of the Prime Minister's driver. Well, today we asked Minister Cordell Hyde about it. He explained that that application actually never reached his desk, but that surveying a parcel of land doesn't guarantee that you'll get it. He added, though, that the land never should have been surveyed in the first place. Here's more.
As I understand it, as I know it, legally speaking, when someone gets, we give a lot of permission to surveys. Oftentimes we tell people that doesn't guarantee you will get the lease or get the purchase price. In instances where the person surveys the land but doesn't get the land, and if they approach the ministry and say, well, how come we didn't get it? We try to work with them, try to give an explanation, try to help them get another piece of land in the event that happens, because that does happen sometimes. As I understand it, in this particular case with this land, it's swampy land. It's not beachfront land, as some people have suggested, as it has been said in some quarters. It's swampy land, surrounded by some bigger parcels of land owned by some big landowners, but it's deep swamp. And so I have said to our people, we should not have issued that permission to survey in the first place, because it's swampy land. And we should not have issued the purchase price in the second place. And so on account of that, we have reached out to Mr. Price and said to him, please bring back the title and transfer the land back to government. He has agreed to do that. I think they're in the process of doing that either today or sometime pretty soon. And we will seek to make that land into some sort of reserve, because it's entirely swamp. In the case of that application from Ms. Garbutt, I didn't see that application. The application never reached my desk. Now that happens sometimes too, right?
Because the land commissioner told her that it was in the queue of the minister to the minister's desk.
Well, the truth of the matter is they tell everybody that. Everybody that comes to check on their land, somehow, everybody in the lands department tell them, it's on my desk. My desk is full, but it's not that full, you know? But they always say that. In this case, As I understand, she got permission to survey in 2022. She got it surveyed pretty quickly, and I think she applied for lease sometime after. But when I checked, that particular file was stuck at inspection for all this time. So you're talking about 3 years being stuck there. It never reached my desk, right?
But how is it that that doesn't reach your desk, but a man who comes after his application reaches your desk, you approve the lease and signed a second document to approve purchase? His one seemed to have been fast-tracked.
So some people apply for lease, some people apply for direct purchase. In this particular case, this person applied for direct purchase and not a lease.
But so a lease number was on the application to purchase document 628/2024.
You are giving me way more details than I recall. As I understand it, he applied for direct purchase. He got a purchase price. He paid the purchase price, and he got a title. He applied. Ms. Garbott applied in 2022. Mr. Price, as I understand it, applied in March of last year. Right? And sometime earlier this year, that file came in front of me.
The ministry plans to compensate Garbott for the cost of the survey and find her a new parcel of land of comparable value, although it may not be in the same area. And in what appears to be a similar case, Haret Gab had been leasing a land in Keycocker, and when he tried to purchase it for his daughter, he realized that the ministry was trying to sell it to someone in Belize City. Except according to the minister, that isn't quite so. Hyde explained that the lease agreement had expired, and while initial payments were paid, they were never completed. So the land reverted back to being government owned, and here's how he put it in detail.
I just got a short report on that last night because someone queried that with me last night. So apparently, Harriet Gab got this land from government over, I don't know, 15 years ago. They got a lease. Remember this, you get a lease. You're renting the land from government, you don't own the land, you get a lease. So you have certain lease conditions. You have to develop the land, or you have to pay a rental, that kind of stuff. But your lease expires after 7 years. When your lease expires after 7 years, then the account is locked automatically, and the land reverts back to government totally, right? Now you can apply back to renew your lease, or you can apply for purchase price. I don't have the files in front of me, but as I recall, that person also got purchase price. He got a purchase price, must have been over 10 years ago. I don't think they paid. If they paid anything, they didn't complete the contractual obligation, which was to pay within 3 years. When you get a purchase price from government, you pay a small fraction within the first 3 months, and then you have up to 3 years to pay the balance. That person never paid the balance, right? So, so that contract, the contract they had with government falls away. So the land reverts back to government. Government just recently, because of a case where there was some duplication out there, a case that we inherited, because we've inherited lots of these kinds of cases where duplications and we have to solve them. And so recently there was a case of duplication where the people were demanding from government $500,000–$600,000 in compensation. And so it was a case that occurred in Keycocker. And so recently I approved for them to use that land as part of the compensation, because it's government land. And so instead of selling it to someone for $2,500, we decided to make that offer to the people who are aggrieved, who are demanding compensation from the government, and who are due compensation from the government because of the duplication that took place. And so those persons have seen the land, they've accepted the land, and my last report is that they're in the process of finalizing that. So strictly speaking, they got a purchase price, they got a lease, the lease expired, the purchase price expired because they didn't finish paying for it when they had the chance to, and so the land is government land.
And we take a break now, but when we come back, what were the most popular baby names in Belize between 2014 and 2023? We'll tell you. And Manatee Man Jamal Galvez received a very special award in London, England last night. We'll speak to him about it. Stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Drop it like it's hot.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Really, he sent me some money since in the States. So I could raise up and after the buy that any cheap shop no more I could gonna save me. Yes. You know, everything nice. But everybody keep the talk of who that will it pack. Who that will it pack?
I am the baby daddy.
I got the baby daddy. I am the baby's father.
Hola, yo soy José y yo soy el papá de Willy. Nos parece muy todo. El man es pintazo.
I am not the baby's daddy. I can't be the baby daddy.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with one of our top stories about Manatee Man. He's been named one of the animal heroes of the world, recognized for his work in manatee conservation and research at the prestigious annual Animal Action Awards. Belize's very own Jamal Galvez was nominated and awarded by the International Fund for Animal Welfare under its wildlife rescue category. The ceremony was held in London last night, and we spoke to Galvez through Zoom today about his exciting achievement.
In September, he was named 1 out of 4 conservation leaders under New England's Aquarium's Marine Conservation Action Fund. And now he's being awarded by the International Fund for Animal Welfare at the prestigious Animal Action Awards ceremony in London. Jamal Galvez, affectionately known as the Manatee Man, is the first Belizean to receive a wildlife rescue award. And last night, he was among the 7 other recipients from across the world recognized by the International Fund for Animal Welfare. He thanked his core supporters.
Cousins, the British High Commission, all my family and friends back home. Thank you for your endless love and support.
Today, Galvez spoke with us via Zoom from London about how he was nominated for this award by his mentor, the recently deceased Dr. James Buddy Powell, who he first met when he was 11 years old. The beginning of a lifelong journey.
They are a household name. They've had this award for many, many years in which they've honored many individuals that I've looked up to, including people like the late great Jean Goodall, who was also a late mentor of mine. So it is being within companies that I had never dreamt of being within those companies. But I was nominated for the award by my boss, my mentor, whom I spent more of my life that I spent with him than I didn't spend with him, to be honest. Been with him since 11 years old, and he had nominated me for this award, and unfortunately, he had passed days before the award was announced. So he wasn't aware that I got an award, but I'm pretty sure that he felt that I was able or capable of getting that award the minute that he had decided to nominate me. So this award means a lot to me. For me, not for me, for the country of Belize as well. Like I say, where I go, I carry my people, I carry my country. And it is even more special because he is the last thing that he have done for me. And it's a bittersweet moment because it's something that I wish that I could have shared with him. It is not just about the award, it's literally about the opportunity that and the platform that it creates for myself and for Belize. Putting Belize on that map and making people aware and making people know that the conservation work that is being done in Belize is significant, it's tremendous, it's moving the needle. And like I said, it's an honor to have been a part of that. It's an honor to be among the other individuals who are doing impressive work across the globe as well.
From Little Gales Point, Belize, to the venue where they host the British Academy Film and Awards in London, Galvez stood on stage and proudly representing his country and community, a defining milestone in his career, as he hopes to inspire others, especially those with just questions and a desire to help, make a difference in the world of marine conservation.
Being given this opportunity, being blessed with opportunities like this, coming from where I came from, society didn't written that for me. Sometimes you have to take a path that's not cleared for us. You got to forge your own path. And for me, it's giving dreams to kids who look like me, in places that I've come from, so that they too can dream, so that they too can realize that it's not just about dream, but you can actually become what you dream of. It's not what society says of you. It's not what people may think of you. It's literally you finding that thing that drives you the most and literally forging your way, pushing your way and seeking assistance. Because many people have helped me. I always say that this is the journey of many people because so many people have influenced my growth in more ways than one. And I'm forever grateful for. We are doing wonderful things in Belize and there's a lot more to be done. A lot more will be done. So for me, it's to not inspiring one person, but to inspire the masses as it relates to conservation across the globe.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And in other conservation news, a jaguar's tooth. For some, it may seem like a cool pendant, but it's illegal. And tonight, it's costing one Placencia man $5,000. On October 15th, Jordan Woods was found guilty in the Stand Creek District Court for unlawful possession of forest produce, specifically 2 jaguar teeth. Woods was fined $5,000, which he has 1 year today or to pay off or face 6 months imprisonment. A release notes that Section 19 of the Forest Act clearly states that no person shall possess or have in their custody any forest produce without lawful authority. This includes wildlife parts such as skins, claws, or teeth. Jaguars are a protected species in Belize, and any trade or possession of their body parts is strictly prohibited, end quote. We are told that the Woods, that is, also possessed archaeological antiquities without a permit and was also prosecuted for that as well. And in other news from the Forestry Department, we have an update on the illegal logging in Boston Village that we told you about in August. On September 30th, Eric Fair and Jacob Waynes appeared in the Orange Walk Magistrates Court and were charged with unlawful possession of forest produce. They pleaded not guilty and received bail under the directive that they cannot interfere with the chairman of Boston Village or go anywhere near the logs which were confiscated in the village. The case continues on November 4th when disclosure will be made. And now switching stories, what were the most popular baby, boy, and girl names in Belize over the last 10 years? In 2024, the Ministry of Health and Wellness said it was for girls, Mia, then Maria, Anna, Genesis, and Emily. While for boys, it was David, followed by Jaden, then Jose, then Jacob, and Aiden. Well, the 2024 review says that Maria has taken over from Mia as the #1 girls' name, while Helena, Anna, and Eva fill out the top 5. For boys, David is still holding that top spot, followed by Jacob, Jaden, Johan, and Aiden. Notably, there were only 5,791 live births nationally in 2024, the fewest since 1984. And the district with the highest birth date in Cayo is Cayo, that is, while Belize City as the lowest. And going back now to our top story about the acquisition of Fortis Inc.'s energy assets in Belize. That acquisition includes a 33% holding in BEL, which government got for a major discount, about a third of its book value. And that's because the company is operating at a severe loss. The Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition discussed it today.
Especially during peak periods, BEL has bought power for as high as 5 times its regulated price cap. 5 times as high. In other words, to keep the lights on, BEL has bought power at prices as high as $2 per kilowatt hour, but can only sell that kilowatt for 41 cents, being its regulated price ceiling.
The electricity rates in this country will increase. That no me say so. Me no say so, I pray that no so. But BL, Its liability is close to 500 million. And you know what's its equity? 366 million BEL, or more than it could leverage as a company. It can leverage it whole self and we can't meet the debt. So who will pay? Mr. Speaker, the people like me and you want pay. You know who want pay? The people who sweep the streets. The people who will pick up the garbage. The people the teachers who teach in our schools. The healthcare workers who work 24-hour shifts when they have to.
As we said, the state of BEL's current performance likely spurred the deep discount in its share value, and government will likely be stuck with those for a while. But in the $256 million Belize dollar acquisition of the Fortis assets, the shares only account for 14% of the entire cost. The 3 hydro dams are the real value here. And today, the Prime Minister outlined how it was valued, while the leader of the opposition said she still needs to see more.
The independent valuation, Madam Leader of the Opposition, you're asking, the independent valuation with access to both historical data and projections of the company, as well as global comparisons, set a figure of $122 million US. Of course, Fortis was asking for a higher price. The final net purchase price is $110 million US, which is approximately 6 times the 2024 net profits. In the case of BEL shares, the book value for the 40 shares at the close of 2024 was $62,611,826 million US, or $125,223,652 million Belize dollars. That's a per share price of $5.45 Belize dollars. The final negotiated purchase price is $18 million US, or 36 million Belize dollars, a share price of $1.56, from $5.44 to $1.56. So government's final purchase price taken together represents a discount of over 30% compared to the nearer valuation and the book value of Fortis Belize and BEL shares respectively. I believe that the sizable discount compared to the independent valuation price and compared to the book value respectively is sufficient evidence that the parameters of these acquisitions are extremely positive for Belize.
And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Friday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook or YouTube pages. Have a good night and a great weekend, and join me back here on Monday. Have a good night, folks.